Hello guys, Duffel1 here, and today I took the carburetor off of my Mcculloch Mac 1010, this one here. I had some problems with fuel getting up into the carburetor. I thought it was my fuel filter on my fuel line, this right here. When I was taking this off, it looked pretty good to me. So I decided to take the carburetor apart and clean it out, and I ended up breaking my fuel line on my carburetor, the little nipple that goes onto the carburetor. They're a pain in the butt to get off of this type of carburetor. So I've got extra fuel line I've got two extra ones from my other 1010s that were part saws, and they're in pretty good shape. I'm going to use this one here. But we're going to put the carburetor back together. I need to clean it up yet. Here's the pump diaphragms in the gasket. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty clean. And then we've got the diaphragm in the gasket. The diaphragm looks good. It's not in bad condition. But I still got to do some cleaning here. So we're going to go ahead and finish cleaning up. Get all this wiped down. I've already sprayed it down with carb cleaner. Go ahead and stick my pick down in there and clean it out. Make sure everything's all clean, all the holes. Looks to be pretty clean. Let's clean this here. I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off. It's got some gunk in it. To be honest with you, the carburetor wasn't that bad. This is, let's see here. This is the Mcculloch SDC 16 SDC Mcculloch carburetor. It's got the same type of carburetor as the Walbro HDB. It's got the same gaskets and all that stuff. So if you need a carburetor kit, look up the SDC or HDB. It's got the same, the HDB has the same type of a pump diaphragm in there and gasket. So that would work if you needed a pump diaphragm. Let's go ahead and put the needle valve back in here. Let's do some more cleaning up on the edge of this. I'm going to put the needle valve back in, and I will show you guys running this thing if the rain stops outside. I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together. Put the spring and the needle lever and stuff back in. And be cautious. Don't lose the spring, because if you lose the spring, you're done, because you can't find just springs. And I'll show you guys where it should be flush at. Stick this back in here. Flathead. This one's magnetized. I hate it. I love rebuilding and cleaning carbs. I think that's the most funnest part on the saw. You don't want to torque this down too tight. Just get it fairly tight. And then make sure it's flush, which it is. So that part's complete. Let's go ahead and get the diaphragm and gasket back on. It only goes on one way. Let's go ahead and spray this out with carb cleaner. It's got some dirt on it. Make sure that you attach this little latch. See this little piece on the carburetor? There's this little groove right here on your needle valve thing. Make sure that that's locked in. And make sure you got it on the right way. So it's locked in. Let's go ahead and put the cover back on here. You want to tighten these up evenly. It smells like stale gas. Come on, let's get that out. It does really bad smell like stale gas, but I'm not going to tighten them up all the way. I'm not even fairly tightening them right now. I'm just screwing them down. Okay, now let's flip it over. We're going to put the screen back in, and I'll show you how to put that back in. I'm going to take this glove off here. I just usually stick it down in there with my finger at first, and then I'll just use my little screwdriver on my screwdriver to just make sure it's even in there. And it's flush. It's even in there. So yeah. Now we can put the pump diaphragm back on. It only goes on one way. Okay. I'm going to show you guys replacing the fuel line too. Alright. Okay, it's back together. We're going to go ahead and move all this out the way. Move you guys back here. Flip you up. Go ahead and stand you up here a little bit. I'm going to bring my thing here. I'm going to stick you guys up. I'm going to prop you up a little more so that you guys can see better. Alright, now what we're going to do is first I'm going to install the fuel line. This little groove here, we're going to stick it down in here. We're going to stick it up through here. We're going to get it over here. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of take my pick, stick it up in there, and just kind of slide it up in through there. And then what I'll do is I'll just grab it and pull it through. And then there's like a little groove. Pull it through, and there you go. That's all you do with the fuel line. It's not hard to do at all. Make sure that it's flush down there. Now what we're going to do is just kind of clean this area out here. Now we're going to reinstall the carburetor. First you want to go ahead and hook up your throttle linkage. Go ahead and we'll stick that back on. Okay, so that's on. Throttle linkage is back on. We got to stick this down under here. Let's see here. Okay, it's back on. Now we're going to get the choke, stick it on this little grommet here. And then what we're going to do is we'll bring it over here. We'll stick it in its groove here. And then slide it on into the choke. Now we're going to tighten down the carburetor. Put the grooves back on here. We'll stick it down in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the thing and tighten it down. Make sure that it's fairly tight. You don't want to strip it out though. There we go. Everything's working good. So now let's add the fuel line back on. We're going to slide you over here to the other side and zoom you in. Right there's where the fuel line goes. We're just going to stick it back on. Just going to stick it back on here. Like I said, it's a pain in the butt because it's got a big lip on it. It's even worse getting it off. Make sure it's all the way on there. It's all the way on, so we got that part on. Let's go ahead and zoom it out and focus you in. So now it is all back together. All we have to do is fuel it up, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to stick the cover back on here. Alright, so we got the carburetor back on, so let's go ahead and put the air filter back on. Fuel line's on. We're going to put the cover back on. And we're going to tighten it all down. Everything's fine. Let's see here. Choke works. Everything's working. Let's go ahead and tighten it down a bit. Now we have to fuel it back up. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. And then we will go out and see if we can fire it up. There we go. Let's go ahead and wipe it all up. Put the cap back on. And let's go see if it'll fire up. It is raining out, but we're still going to go see if we can get it to fire up. We're going to do it real quick. Choke's on. It's on. Let's see. Alright guys, well, it fires up, just needs a little tuning, and it'll be good. Alright guys, Def1 sign out. Peace. Hope you liked it. Comment, rate, subscribe for more videos. Peace.